Hello, in this Java programming video we are going to kickstart the classes and OOP part of this series, which is object oriented programming, if you were wondering what OOP meant. And there'll be a variety of videos covering all of the different facets of classes. So, what is a class essentially? You can think of it like a blueprint, a guide of how to create sort of like objects, and classes and objects go together. You create a blueprint, which is a class, then you create objects of that class, and it has all of its properties. So if, for example, you have a game and you have an enemy in there and you need to have 1,000 different enemies, but they're essentially the same. Might have like a different position, maybe a couple of other different parameters, but overall they're the same enemy. Having a class called enemy or something along those lines would be fantastic, and they could just reuse it again and again. If you were to make a change to the class, all the objects, all those 1,000 enemies would have the change as well. So let's just get to it and create a new class. So by default, there was a class created for the main method, but that was just something default that you required, and Eclipse luckily did it for us. You can create another class in the same file. Recommended that you create another file for it. So if we right click SRC, go to new class, and for this we're going to set a package. I'm going to do sonar, and we need to set a name. So I'm going to set a name of, I'll set a name of enemy. Okay, so lowercase, it just recommends it to be lowercase, that's fine. And leave everything else as it is. Click finish. And there we go, we got this class. So what you want to do is we're going to implement like a very basic version of a class, and a class has has two main things: variables and methods. So I'm going to create a variable. It doesn't matter what data type it is, it can be any data type. So I'm going to say int lives, for example, and let's say we have float health. And we're going to have a method called void, and we'll have this reduce health, and we'll actually pass in like a damage amount, so damage, and we'll just implement the method like so, and we are just going to put health minus equals damage. Okay, so very simple class has been implemented. If we go to our other file, doesn't matter what file it is, the process is very similar. You go to import, we're going to import our module, we put the name of the package, dot, then the name of the file, so enemy semicolon, and now to create an object of that class is extremely simple. All you have to do is do enemy. Now I'm going to call it something, and I'll call it E1. And now it has been created. So we can do E1 dot, and we can access, we'll go to enemy, we can access its properties. So for the E1 dot live equals, let's say 10. What is this saying? Sorry. It needs to be public. So if we go back to public at the start of it, because by default it is not public in Java. That was a mistake on my part, but we'll be covering all of this stuff about public, and it's called scope, and like I said, we'll cover all of that stuff very soon. Okay, so now if we go back and open Simone about now, Okay, if we go back, it needs a default value. So if we do equals, so health is by default 100, lives are by default equal to 1. Go back. Oh, sorry, there. I don't know what the hell I'm doing. E1 equals no. Okay, so actually we don't want that. We want E1. Sorry about this. My mind is all over the place. E1 equals enemy. That's what we actually want. See how you initialize it. There we go. And yeah, we can keep the default values. That's not a problem as well. And now, if I were to do system.out.println, and if I were to print out e1.live, see what we get. So we get 10. That's pretty cool. Let's create another enemy now. So enemy, we'll create it before actually. So we'll do enemy e2 equals new enemy, and I'm going to do e2.lives, and that's it actually. Now what I'm going to do is print out enemy 2 live. As you can see, we get 10 and 1. So this is the beauty of classes, and more specifically objects of those classes. Each object, though it has all of the methods and the variables of that class, it has its own instances of those properties. So if enemy 1 has a particular variable and is set to some value, enemy 2 will have a different variable, though it might act the same way within the class, but you can store a different value. So this is really, really powerful. Now let's have a look at the other method. So e2.health, and if we do, we are passing 9, for example. Not health, I was meant to say reduce health. That was what it's called. The system.out.println, and then here I'm going to do e2.health, and I'm also going to print out e1's health as well. So I'll print out e1 first, e2 second. So as you can see, it prints out 100 and 91 for e2. So we independently allowed us to call the reduce health method and reduce the health. You can put whatever sort of code you want inside of these methods, loops, conditional statements, it does not matter. Don't worry, over the next few videos we'll be covering all of the different little features and nuances of classes, so feel free to stay tuned for those. I look forward to seeing you there, and I'll see you very soon.